And thanks for staying with us on The What Now. As we track all the news coming from Ukraine and Russia's, where Russia's defense ministry says that 959 Ukrainian fighters from the Mariupol Steelworks have been taken to Russian-controlled territory since Monday. Ukraine is calling for a prisoner swap for the evacuated defenders, but their fate is currently uncertain. Ukraine has not said how many people it believes have left the complex. Russia says the fighters will be treated according to international norms, but a senior Russian politician said Nazi criminals should not be exchanged. The battle for Mariupol appears to be over after a devastating siege that lasted nearly 3 months. The fall of the port city would give Russia a land bridge to Crimea and control of the Sea of Azov, cutting off Ukraine's maritime trade. There is more in this report.
Russia is firing long-range missiles on Ukrainian civilian and military infrastructure because its army cannot demonstrate any significant achievement on the ground. That's according to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. In a video address released late last night, Mr. Zelensky says there had been missile shelling in the Lviv, Sumy and Chernihiv regions, airstrikes in the Luhansk region and sabotage activity in border areas.
Вони не можуть продемонструвати успіх загальновійськовими діями на тих напрямках, де пробують наступати. І тому намагаються показати успіх за рахунок своїх ракет та іншої активності.
Images released by Ukraine emergency services show firefighters at the scene of a missile strike in Mykolaiv on Tuesday. One person was injured in a residential area, according to the emergency services, following the strike by Russia in the early hours of the morning. On Monday, the Russians killed 7 civilians in the Donetsk region. 6 people were injured. One of them is a 9-year-old boy who was found on the rubbles. Outside the Donetsk region, 2 loud explosions were heard in Dnipro, a city in central Ukraine that has been largely spared of Russian attacks recently. The region's governor says 1 missile was shot down by the Ukrainian air defense. The debris fell on a private garden, he says, damaging 2 houses and wounding a woman. Another missile hit transport infrastructure, he adds, without giving details. Meanwhile, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba is currently visiting the Netherlands. He has met with various Dutch ministers to discuss the ongoing situation in Ukraine. This was followed by a joint press conference with the Foreign Minister of the Netherlands.
For me, the end of the war will be when the last Russian soldier withdraws from Ukraine, when Russia pays the last cent to compensate the damage inflicted on Ukraine, and when the last Russian soldier or politician whom we can get will face international responsibility for the crimes committed in the territory of Ukraine during the war.
We are committed to truth and we are committed to justice. And it's important that we do our utmost as an international community to help out here and to achieve justice for the victims of this terrible war.
In the United States, the Pentagon spokesperson John Kirby has praised the Ukrainian fighters who were held up in the Mariupol Steelworks defending the city. According to reports, hundreds of the fighters left the site in 2 convoys on Monday and Tuesday.
Civilians that were stuck there at the plant who have finally been able to get out, and the soldiers that continued to resist there did so bravely and skillfully, and it's quite admirable to think how long they were able to hold out. And President Zelensky referred to them as heroes. I think we would all agree with that.
Still in the U.S., Ned Price, the State Department spokesperson, has held a regular media briefing. Now, during the press conference, was asked about next steps in Ukraine and the possibility of the country trying to negotiate with Russia. Mr. Price said it's not up to the U.S. to decide, but for Russia to see how it moves forward. He said the U.S. will continue to provide security, economic and humanitarian assistance.
It is our hope to generate the conditions where dialogue, where good faith diplomacy can take place, And of course, more so than the process, we are most concerned about the outcome, seeing to it that our Ukrainian partners are successful in seeing their objectives through.